Hello everyone and welcome to Turkish series stars. Settle in, because today's video goes deep. If you enjoy our content, tap subscribe, give this video a like, and if you want to support us even more, hit the join button below so we can keep bringing you the most exclusive stories. Now, let's dive into the storm that's taken over the Turkish entertainment world and shaken the fandom to its core. The center of it all? The names you know well, Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis. It started quietly, in one of those casual moments that rarely make headlines until they suddenly do. During an off-camera exchange, a conversation that was supposed to float away like small talk turned into a spark. Witnesses say Gökberk Demirci, measured and composed as always, let slip a reflection that sounded harmless at first, a thought delivered with that careful intensity he's known for. The line was simple, almost philosophical, and yet it landed like a stone in a still lake. People talk endlessly, he mused, but truth rarely matches the chatter, most accept the surface as if it were the whole. Words meant to be general became personal the moment they hit the internet. The reaction was immediate. Those sentences, clipped and reposted, stripped of tone and context, cut straight into the heart of a story fans have never quite let go of. For Özge Yagis, insiders say it was like stepping back into an old room she thought she had locked behind her. She heard the comment and felt the tremor. In the privacy of a late-night call, her voice, usually bright and grounded, turned soft and heavy. "I didn't see this coming," she confided, sounding stunned and utterly human. "I thought we were past this, now it feels like someone pulled me backward." Close friends describe that night as a quiet unraveling, not the kind made of drama, but the one that happens when memories start speaking louder than reason. She wasn't angry, they say. Not even defiant. She was simply hurt, blindsided by old feelings she thought she had tucked away with care. She sat with her phone in her hands, messages lighting up the screen, and in between calls she blinked through tears, trying to make sense of a wave she hadn't expected to face again. And what about him? While timelines overflowed and clips mounted millions of views, Gökberk Demirci chose a different route: silence. He kept his voice off the record, no statements, no clarifications, allowing the moment to breathe instead of wrestling it into submission. For some fans, that silence felt thoughtful, even protective, a way of not adding fuel to a fire he hadn't meant to light. For others, it read like distance, a retreat that left Özge exposed to speculation she didn't deserve. Was it restraint or indifference? The audience couldn't decide. Within hours, the conversation roared across social platforms. Old interviews resurfaced, moments where glances lingered just a bit longer, where humor softened the edges of guarded words. Clips from earlier promotions and behind-the-scenes snippets were stitched together like a mosaic of what might have been and what might still be. There is something about the way the public holds on to certain stories, especially ones that feel unfinished. With Gökberk's reflective line making the rounds, people started reading between sentences that had never been written. The press, hungry and meticulous, painted the night in shades of urgency. Reports claimed Özge Yagis was on the phone for hours, circling her most trusted friends. She asked the same question more than once, they say, not because she didn't hear the answers, but because she couldn't quite accept them. Why now? Why this way? By morning, after a night of little sleep and countless notifications, she looked spent, the weight of an old chapter suddenly back in her hands. Meanwhile, the fandom split in two. There were those who insisted that a thoughtful remark should not be treated like an arrow, and that reading it as a hidden message was a stretch born from nostalgia. Then there were those who swore the comment carried a shadow, a sentence pointed towards something left unsaid, as if the past still had a pulse. It quickly became a tug-of-war between interpretations, with each side convinced they were defending what's true. Here at Turkish series stars, we want to hear from you. Did that offhand line carry a private meaning, or have people stitched their own narrative onto a moment that wasn't meant to hold it? Tell us where you stand in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to stay on top of every twist. If you'd like to support us, hitting the join button helps us keep delivering the most in-depth and sensitive coverage of the stars you love. The impact wasn't just digital. It felt personal, a ripple returning to a shore everybody thought had finally calmed. The story of Gökberk Demirci and Özge Yagis has always belonged to the public in a way few stories do, because it once unfolded so sincerely before our eyes. Their bond, their silences, their negotiations with fame and expectation, none of it ever felt staged. Even after paths diverged, their names remained tethered in the collective imagination, as if people were still rooting for a chapter that refused to stay closed. Days passed, and the vacuum remained. No press releases, no interviews, no clarifying notes, just rumor upon rumor, speculation piled on interpretation. Some outlets whispered that Özge was considering a short, measured statement to cool things down, to put a lid on the boiling pot. Others insisted nothing would be said at all. On Gökberk's side, representatives stuck to a line that sounded crafted and calm: he prefers not to be dragged into controversies. On the record, nothing changed. Off the record, everything felt fragile. In the middle of it, fans reached out to him directly, filling his comments with requests. Please, give us context. Please, tell us what you meant. He read, scrolled, watched, and kept his calm exterior. Whether that quiet was steely discipline or a refusal to play the game, only he knows. But the question echoed anyway: is this silence a strategy, a shield built of patience, or is it a sign that the conversation, as far as he's concerned, is over? The industry thrives on the smallest details: a pause, a turn of phrase, a glance that lingers one heartbeat too long. One line can become a labyrinth. One tear can become a headline. And in this case, a few reflective words became a mirror. The image many saw inside it wasn't really about the sentence itself, it was about the history that people can't stop revisiting, the chemistry that still feels real every time their names are placed side by side. What makes this moment so combustible is that it touches a truth fans rarely admit: their connection, whatever form it now takes, still matters. The camera loved them, and the audience did too, and that love is hard to let go of. Even without declarations, without tidy endings, every movement is overanalyzed. If he stands back, he's accused of coldness. If she shows emotion, she's told she's reopening wounds. Yet it's exactly this imperfect, complicated humanity that keeps their story alive. Here at Turkish Series Stars, we'll be watching closely. We'll bring you every development with the care this story deserves, because beyond the buzz there are two people navigating a storm they may not have asked for. Make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss a single update. In our upcoming videos, we'll examine how fans are reshaping the narrative, what possible steps each side could take next, and how this turbulence might echo through their careers and future projects. In the end, the question comes back to you. Where do you place your faith, in the careful quiet of Gökberk Demirci, or in the raw sincerity of Özge Yagis as she processes a night that brought back more than headlines? Tell us your take below. Your perspective shapes the conversation as much as any quote or clip. Because if this week has made anything clear, it's that in the world they inhabit, the line between what is true and what looks true is as thin as a whisper. A thoughtful remark, tossed into the air like a paper plane, can drift and twist until it feels like a coded message. A private tear, wiped away before sleep, can echo louder than any press conference. And silence, the quietest choice of all, can roar. As the dust refuses to settle, the echo of that one moment keeps bouncing from screen to screen, room to room, heart to heart. Perhaps time will make sense of it. Perhaps they will. Until then, the story holds, delicate and bright, suspended between what was said and what was felt. And here at Turkish Series Stars, we'll be right beside you as it unfolds, bringing you thoughtful, compassionate updates every step of the way. Thank you for watching, take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.